In this session, we will discuss about fiber connectors and fiber cleaning practices. So the basic purpose of this recording on these slides is the do's and don'ts and how important is the fiber cleaning practices are for any telecom network. So we go to the next slide. In the program, we would be covering training topics where we will cover introduction to fiber cables and the connectors which are being used nowadays, inspection and cleaning, so the process and why it is required, that also will be covered under these topic lines. And those general reminders and warnings while you do the inspection and cleaning. And the next will be some of the best practices to be taken care while doing the fiber cleaning, and certain type of cleaning of different type of components where would be like mostly dry cleaning techniques and wet cleaning techniques. And at the end of the slides there will be the tools, the advanced tool available in the market which can be used to get the better results. Okay, so moving to now. So before we start the fiber cleaning presentation or training, uh, just have a quick look of on the fiber. And here I'm only covering the single mode fiber, and without going in details, the major bullets in terms of knowing the fiber is how does it propagate the signal. So the point is that it uses the reflection to guide a light through a channel, which is the fiber combination of core and cladding. In the middle of the cylindrical glass, there will be core. In case of single mode fiber, it is 8 to 9 microns, and cladding is 125 microns. So we can consider cladding is almost equal to any human hair, and core has to be like 1/10 of that, so it's even more less than 1/10 of the human hair if we take the percentage of 125 microns against 9. And this reflection happens where you have cladding glass or the material to be utilized for manufacturing with less refractive index, so it's a rare medium, and the core has to be the denser one. Okay, so here are some type of connectors are being used, and these are mechanical coupling devices which is used to manage the fiber, because without connectors it would be very messy, it will be difficult, and the accessibility in terms of meeting the accessing the fiber and testing purpose, it is not very convenient if we do not use the fiber connectors and couplers. So in the connectors, the major thing and challenge is the reflection apart from the losses. So whenever there will be higher losses, the chances are there that reflection will be high as well. In terms of if the reflections are high and the transmission technologies are of very high speed, then it may damage the communication channel, or even it can cause some issues to the hardware. So very basic common type of connectors nowadays is FC. So ferrule connector, it is slowly going obsolete because this is just a main, like there is a thread is to be connected, and when we use this connector a lot, it is having a life, and the service or the fiber losses are degrading with the time and with the use. And also there is a special skill set required to fit this connector correctly. So this is slowly going out, or now it is only available in the very low distant applications. Subscriber connector, SC connector, some people call it square connector. It is better. It is like not having the same ferrule, like the coverage, like 2.5 mm, the white plastic which is protecting the core and cladding. So it is similar to the ferrule, but this is a better one. Then next one is lucent connectors. It definitely have the advantage over the previous two in terms of per connector losses. So the lucent connector losses are lower, and it takes a very less space. So mostly it is designed to be used on the hardware boards, hardware cards, where we can put more and more ports on single board. Then similar to LC, there is MU connectors. It is also designed on the similar requirement, but with a different manufacturer, different vendors. And we do have Euro 2000 connectors. They are very good as such in terms of uh, like protecting the dust. There is a cap always there, and the U2000 connectors mostly commonly used is with the APC connection type. So angle physical contact, that we would be covering in detail later on. So yeah, the next line is tells the story. So you can have these connections. The matting of two coupling point can be a flat, polished connectors, and UPC universal polished connector, and APC is angle physical or polished connector to minimize the losses and back reflection. So angled would definitely have the least reflection. Moving to the next slide, you can see in the pictures how does they look like. They are connectors. Okay, so this is just a flat, but because the coupling area in these type of connectors is high, so there are chances if there is a dust particle in between or there is alignment issues in the coupling, the chances of having losses are high. Physical contact is just it is modified version of the flat, where only the middle portion of the connector is only getting in contact with the another side of the connector. Then ultra polished, also their name is ultra polished connector. So this is having very less area where both connectors meet. And the last one is APC, angled physical. So it's angled physical polish connector. Yeah, let's move to the next slide. Or before that, you can see the coupling. You can see in this diagram how the coupling possibility and how much less or more area will be there in any coupling. So when we have seen it, and by knowing the diameter of the connector coupling area, or the diameter of the single mode fiber, it is very less. Means you can think about hair, and even core area is 1/10 of hair. So any small, so as small as 9 micron dust particle can cover up the whole fiber signal if it fits right on the top of the core. And not only it can just attenuate the signal to zero, but if the particle, the dust particle, or any that is very hard, so while there is a coupling, the chances of connector getting damaged or fiber core and cladding getting cracked are very high, uh, which is which is actually the common problem if we do not clean the connectors properly. And once it is damaged, later on you just keep on doing the cleaning, or you choose whatever the ways you have in market, that fiber is not going to be like no useful in future. So we need to take care of the cleaning at the very first place. Okay, so one more thing, like while you clean and inspect, because the laser is very concentrated power, so it can be very much like no harmful. It can be very much harmful for your eyes, or even for other body part, skin. It also depend on the power, uh, launch power in the fiber at the point you are checking it. So where it is point to point type of interfaces, the powers are very less harmful. But like when you once you use the DWDM, there we have to send the signal at a very distance, so we amplify the power, optical power, and that becomes very hazardous. So we need to take care of that while we work on the fiber. In general reminders, uh, as a general rules, before we inspect the fiber, then we should be actually turning off the laser. So turning off the laser is must, basically, wherever you are using. And similarly, basically all the basic requirement is to shut off the laser at the point where you are inspecting or you are checking. So any method like turning off the laser or disconnecting the fiber. And apart from that, you should protect yourself with the appropriate safety glasses, so that even if there is a chance, if you miss step one or two, you can still be unharmed with the laser hazards. So before cleaning the connectors, we should actually inspect. Inspection is very much required. Whenever we do open the connector, first thing we need to do is the inspection. It has been observed that we are not having the sufficient tools while we do this type of cleaning or connecting or doing the work, but inspection is very much required. So there are whole lot of instruments available, right from the economic to very high standards. So it is recommended that we should have both type of the connectors. So both type of fiber inspection tools. Uh, in general, we can use those which is manual type. But in typical cases where we have chronic issues of fiber losses, uh, we we should take the help of those advanced tools. So the rule is like whenever you open it, you clean it, because once you have opened the connector, you cannot guarantee without cleaning that it would be clean. As It has been told even in environment there are so many dust particles are roaming around. So once you take it out, chances are there is a probability that it will get dirty, and as small dust as 9 micron is good enough to make it the dirtiest connector. So apart from that, like while you just unplug, you should be using those tools for housing or taking out the fiber connectors from equipment or ODFs or FMS. Once you take it out, and if you're keeping it for a long time, make sure you put a cap on it. As such, in general environment, it is not getting damaged or anything. Fiber, the connector point is very hard. It would remain okay till you scratch it on some very rough surface with the friction. Just keeping it open as such would not cause any issue. But the purpose of capping is basically to avoid that those contaminations, those dust with like oil which can turn up to the mud, to avoid that kind of residuals on the connectors. That's why cap is very much required. So once you keep it, it may be dusty. So even cap would not guarantee you that it would be clean. Just you remove the cap and connect. That is not going to help for sure. You need to clean every time. So even there is a precaution for keeping those caps. You have to keep it in the resealable, basically in a closed type of any container. And like no, we generally use that we use tissues or swabs to clean the ports or the bulkheads of the connectors. We should actually discard them immediately, because once they are used to clean the dust, and now the dust is on your tissues or swabs. So there's no point in keeping those swabs and tissues for any future cleaning. So warnings, you can say them warning. They can work as a good practice as well. Um, I come across a lot of cleaning practices, and then it is observed that wet cleaning is not required for connectors. It is definitely not required. We may have habit of cleaning with the liquids we have all the time with us, but it is actually not required, not recommended. 99.99% it is not required. If you are keeping something uncapped, and I told you that if there is a residue, or if there is oily environment, and then dust accumulates with the oil, which can create an effect of like mud or very sticky material on bulkhead or inside the connector, uh, ODF connectors, equipment connectors, you would not need the alcohol or any type of cleaning liquid cleaning. Okay, because if you do it every time, there are practices where people use it extensively, which knowingly or unknowingly is damaging the equipment. So there are sprays around, and there are like having propyl alcohol all the time with them, and people think it's like kerosene cleaning. That is not going to help. And if they even feel like, if you have the spray put into the equipment port, the liquid actually evaporates, but it takes time. and if you do it in a much quantity, it can go inside the equipment and can cause damage to the circuit, and hence card is the board will go faulty for sure. I have taken a lot of time because this is my recommendation, not to use the wet cleaning for the connectors most of the time. Actually, wet cleaning is required for the fiber ends where we prepare fiber and you have jelly around there, and you have environment and outside, then you may need it. And finally, because you are taking care of cutting the fiber and cleaning it properly after wet cleaning, that's why it is only there it is required. So never look into the laser, and so bulkheads or receptacle devices without a way to inspect them. So don't clean bulkheads to inspect them. So we need to have those tools which can take care mostly the actual surface for picture. So never touch product without being properly grounded. That is the very general guideline for ESD. So there can be ESD. It may directly or indirectly impact. So if you have handheld magnifiers which directly focuses on your eye, so that can even also damage your eye if you are directly looking at a live fiber where you have a laser there. So don't, whenever laser is on, then inspection is not proper for sure. Whenever laser is on, so whenever laser is on, then inspections are not good even for the health hazards as well as for actually scanning the fiber problems. Don't twist it forcefully. So that is also we need to take care. Sometimes we damage the connectors. They are delicate. So if you twist it like a copper cable, it may damage the connector itself. So don't reuse. We have already covered it. Okay. Oh yeah, this is very funny. So never use those other cleaning things which we use for any other cleaning, like oh sorry, so this point is actually don't touch the cleaning tools, the cleaning materials. Okay, don't touch any portion of tissue or swab. Again, same thing. If you are using wet cleaning in the rare cases, again don't touch it because dust will go into that. Okay, so if you are using the alcohol dispensing tip, that type of alcohol bottle, even don't touch that. So it's all all suggestions are for not to infect it. Basically, it's like germ, but it is dust, so dust will go into the fiber or into the cleaning uh, alcohol. Alcohol is flammable, so keep it away from the flammable. Keep it away from the fire. Spark anything which can cause fire ignition in that. So best practices we have actually already covered. You can just go through them. So there is one more is that uh, when you use wet cleaning, so if you are allowing it to go away, the evaporation happen automatically, then it can leave the rest residue which has been uh, like which has been taken as a solvent or means dust solvent. So it will leave the dust there itself and alcohol will evaporate. So this is one more best practice we need to just not let that evaporate slowly. Rather, once you apply the wet cleaning, just clean it with some tissue or some buds, as the case may be. This is the process. This is the process, like clean and clean. So we can go even the process. So first thing first, inspect the end face first of all. So end face in case is a male connector, the bulkhead or the male connector, you have to inspect. There are tools where you have adapters which can take care of patch cord and cleaning, the male type, and the ODF or equipment and female type. So once you inspect, is it clean? Don't do it. Don't do anything. Plug it. Plug the matching connector if it is satisfactory. There's If your scan is success, there is no need to clean it. If the scan is giving the good results. If it is not okay, dry clean. Again inspect. If good, connect. If no, again dry clean, inspect. If good, just finish your job. If not, then after that you may try a wet clean, because now there may be one more chance that before we declare this faulty, that there is some sticky muddy material available on the connectors. So you may give it a try. So if you just see if the results are okay, then you are lucky. Otherwise, declare the connector faulty. Okay, thank you. Let's move to the next slide. So this is the same, just the elaboration in terms of statements you can go and do, and there are some precautions how to connect special type of connectors. So you should remove it. So I will go here actually for non-APC fiber connectors. So you need to be careful on while you clean this, because they are already angled. So using the same method as other PC, UPC, PC, that may not help here. It may even damage the connector. Yeah, and then again you have to repeat the process of inspection. So now we have discussed the practices, how to do it, the procedures, and some of the warning, the alert, the precautions to be taken while we do it. We are on this slide where the very well known is the tissue cleaning. So the only thing is tissue, every tissue is not appropriate for cleaning the fiber connectors. So we should use lint-free tissue paper, so good quality, which do not leave the lint, those small dust particles on the connectors. Otherwise, even like if you use the bad or low quality tissues, it may make your fiber dirty. Moments, it may make it worse than the earlier one. Always recommended to have very good tissues, and you have to keep it in a very closed environment. If you keep it like in a bag, very general bag, like a paper, then all dust will go in and this will not remain a lint-free paper. Even if it is packed so, the name may be the very good quality, but actually we have destroyed it. And these are similar lint-free SWABS for female type of connectors, which is mostly required at equipment end as well as an ODF end. So wherever we have a female type of connection, the SWABs are required. Nowadays, in the market, the alternate tools are there because practice with SWABs is in maintenance they are given very less in number, and the engineers think they are very very precious, so even they keep it back with them, and there is tendency that they use it again, and which breaks the rule of reusing. You cannot clean something with dirty cleaning tool. It's okay. So just we have to throw it away. But nowadays there are tools which is available in the next slide that takes care of this type of bad practices. So swabs are good, but because of the practices, they leave the the option of not following the best practices. So instead of those very basic cleaning tool, which is swab and lint-free papers, we have something called cassette or reel type cleaner. Clay top is available in the market. So it's like moving forward, use and throw type of. Uh, Actually, there is a cloth. There is a Sometimes there is a cloth, or sometimes there is a cloth plus some special type of paper, which runs like a cassette player we used to have in old days. And this is the wet cleaning. So this wet cleaning is as such not recommended, but in such cases, rather than you can avoid those like touching them and transferring the dust from the environment or from your hand to the alcohol. Uh, this this will this will avoid that kind of mixture, and this one is very good one. Basically this helps a lot, and it can clean the male and female connectors. Slowly the use of this tool is increasing in telecom. It does not require quite a like skill. So if you are having problem, you have doubt in terms of skills, the technicians on there, then they can use it, and definitely it can save you some hours of downtime uh, while they get it clean very fast. So